Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today. My name is Sandra, and I'm the marketing coordinator for TorontoJobs.ca. And presenting today is Marc Belaiche. He's a CPA CA, and he's the president of TorontoJobs.ca. And he's presenting on the topic, how to grow your career in public accounting. He will talk about stats in the labor and employment industry, general stats, and also specific to accounting and finance. And he will also go over some tips and some advice on how you can enhance your job search, specifically in public accounting. If you have any questions throughout the duration of the presentation, there's a little box at the bottom of your screen. It's named Q&A, and you can just pop your questions in there. And Marc will do his best at the end of the presentation to answer all of them at the end. And I also will put some links from our TorontoJobs.ca website, upcoming events, and some career resources in the chat, so you can check them out after the event. I think that's it, Marc. If there's anything else you'd like to add, feel free, and good luck on your presentation.
Well, thanks very much, Sandra. Good moderator, MC, and really appreciate all the setup that you've done for today. So really appreciate all your work in organizing and promoting and so on and so forth. So welcome, everyone. My name is Marc Belaiche. I'm president of TorontoJobs.ca, as Sandra had mentioned. And yeah, we're in for a good hour. Might not need the full hour to connect, but the goal of today is to give you some information about how to boost your career in public accounting, how to grow, how to get a better opportunity, and kind of what firms are looking for right now. We are running a number of different searches for opportunities within public accounting, and certainly speak with a lot of partners and staff, senior management at firms, and they tell us what they're looking for and what the issues are and what they've been seeing. So it's really good for us to connect at this event. So at this event today, I will cover kind of just talking about the state of the labor market overall and information. So specifically, I find that when you know a little bit about what's going on in the state of the Canadian labor market, you have more information to equip yourself better to find a position when it comes to interviewing or public accounting and so on. I'm also going to talk about some interesting facts about CPAs and public accounting, how to generally find a job. I've been in the recruiting business for 26 years now, and it's definitely changed quite a bit. And what public accounting firms are looking for. And also, I'm going to share with you my top 10 characteristics of successful public accountants that I've met over time as well. And then we'll talk about jobs that we have TorontoJobs.ca in public accounting that we are currently recruiting for. And we'll talk about some upcoming events as well. So if you have any questions, as Sandra mentioned, feel free to post them in the chat. If there's anything in particular you'd like me to cover or answer, not a problem. And we can tailor it as much as possible. So first off, let's talk about the state of the Canadian labor market. Now, just going back a little bit in time before the pandemic, we had the lowest unemployment rate ever recorded in Canadian history. It was at just over 5%. Then the pandemic hit in March and April, March of 2020, and there were 3 million job losses in Canada between the months of March and April. We went up to the highest unemployment rate ever recorded in Canadian history at over 13%. And then over the course of the last year, there's been some bright spots and some not so bright spots. The bright spots have been in the areas where we've been, the bright spots have been in scenarios where the economy seems to have been jumping up and creating jobs. And the not so bright spots have been when we've had lockdowns. And as it stands right now, employment rose by just close to 100,000 jobs in the month of July of 2021. And that added to 230,000 jobs for the month of June. So we've had 2 good solid months of consecutive growth. And that has brought employment to just about 250,000 below the February 2020 job numbers. Now, all of the employment gains in July occurred in the private sector, where the number of employees rose by 120,000. And July employment gains were concentrated in full-time work, and that was the first increase since March of 2021. So full-time jobs and part-time jobs are accounted for in the same way when it comes to Statistics Canada. And the good news, if you're in Ontario, employment growth in July was almost entirely in Ontario. So the unemployment rate currently stands at 7.5%, and it's lower than the recent peak of 9.4% in January of this year. Across Canada, the number of people that are unemployed still stands at 1.5 million, so quite a number of people, and about 500,000 of those are people that have been unemployed for 27 weeks or longer. And the number of people working across Canada is 18.9 million. The unemployment rate for men 25 years of age and over is 7.1%, and the unemployment rate for women 25 years of age and over is 6.4%. So you say, well, Mark, you just said that the unemployment rate was fairly high. It's 7.5%, but males are 7.1%, men 25 years of age and over, and 6.4% for women. Well, how do we get up to 7.5%? Well, it's because the unemployment rate for youth, which is 15 to 24 years old, is 11.6% in July, and that was 13.6% in June. Now, across Canada, the province with the lowest unemployment rate, it's actually tied. Manitoba and Quebec are both at 6.1%. The province with the highest unemployment rate is Newfoundland and Labrador at 12.7%, and that has been the province that has had the most struggles in terms of job creation. Ontario's unemployment rate, 8.0%, and the city with the highest unemployment rate across Canada is Windsor, Ontario at 11.1%. And the city with the lowest unemployment rate, might surprise you, across Canada is Quebec City, Quebec at 4.0%. And if you wonder about the larger cities, Toronto is at 9.5% and Vancouver is at 7.3% overall. Now, in the US, a little bit of a different story. The US added 943,000 jobs in July in 2021. The unemployment rate is 5.4%, which is a new low of the pandemic era, and it was 5.9% in June. So the US is seeing some tremendous job growth. We are typically about 2 to 3 months behind the US, so that gives you an idea as to where we are. Now, since May of 2020, America and the US has added back 16.7 million jobs, but it's still 5.7 million jobs short of its pre-pandemic level. Now, a little bit more about what's going on in the Canadian market, Canadian labor market. And I'm just going to spend another 10 minutes or so kind of painting the picture as to where we are at in Canada. Immigration is a big challenge and a big opportunity at the same time in Canada. Canada's goal has been to bring in 400,000 immigrants each year from 2021 to 2022 to 2023. Now, given the COVID challenges and borders that have been closed off, the challenges have been to try to hit those numbers. But Immigration Minister Marco Mendicino says that the plan seeks to fill workplace shortages and boost Canada's economy. So if we can get there, it will definitely boost the economy and grow. Now, one thing I did not know in doing some research is that in 2019, immigration was responsible for more than 80% of Canada's population growth. I'll repeat that. In 2019, immigration was responsible for more than 80% of Canada's population growth. Now, you might have heard some of the comments, some of the terms called she-cession or she-recession. So we have been, from a jobs perspective, now things are getting better, but from a jobs perspective, we have been in a situation where we are in being what's described as a she-cession or a she-recession. The majority of jobs that have been lost in Canada over the last year and through the pandemic have been female. The industries that have been hardest hit are predominantly women industries like travel, tourism, retail, food services, and hospitality. Now, the good news is most of the jobs, 60 to 65% that are coming back, are female jobs and is driving the unemployment rate for women lower than actually where we were before, which is very good. And if you're old enough to know, remember the 2008-2009 recession, it is now retroactively being called the he-cession or a he-recession, because most of the jobs that were lost back then were male-dominated industries or in male-dominated industries such as manufacturing. Now, we do have a situation where a lot of the economists are referring to this as a K-shaped recovery. And they're saying that it's a K-shape because, and my very fancy K here, some industries have been doing very well during the recession or in terms of the pandemic. If you think of Amazon, Zoom, Netflix, companies like that have been doing very well. On the negative side of the K-shape or the downwards spot is our industries like travel and tourism and hospitality, as I mentioned just a few minutes ago. Now, they are kind of changing, the economists are kind of changing their tune because of the vaccines coming in, that it might be more of a V-shaped recovery, that the industries even hard hit are coming back altogether. And they're saying, well, it's V-shaped also because of the vaccine and as the vaccines start rolling out. So interesting scenario there for sure. But the lower arm of the K are hourly workers, youth, generally 15 to 24 years old. They are people that are more likely to hold jobs that require face-to-face interaction and be employed in industries that have been hardest hit by the lockdown. Now, obviously, with who knows what's happening with Delta and vaccines, it seems to be the battle between vaccines and the next wave that is supposed to be coming. And it's hard to know from a jobs perspective how that's going to be impacted. But definitely, COVID-19 has hurt women's careers. Research from LinkedIn found that female employees are being disproportionately more stressed than their male counterparts by work-related issues. In fact, 74% of women suffer from employment stress versus only 57% of men. That is getting better, but we're going to talk about mental health and well-being as I get into the top 10 tips shortly. And the global economy, while recovering, and there's no doubt that things are getting better from a jobs and economic perspective, the Global Economic Prospects Report for 2021 by the World Bank thinks that there will be a lingering impact from the virus. What it warned could be a lost decade, especially for countries that failed to get on top of the pandemic early. Now, from a jobs perspective, I hear from a number of recruiters, and I talk to a number of recruiters all the time. It's either slow on hiring and organizations are holding steady, or it's hard to find candidates for particular roles, or it's generally steady with not a lot of movement. Now, the industries that have been hard hit, especially service industries, are slow to recover on the jobs, but it's definitely a unique world right now. Nothing like I've ever seen before in the 26 years, and probably a lot of people have not seen something like this. I mean, I've lived through a number of recessions, economic crises, the financial credit crisis from 2008, 2009, the dot-com bubble in 2001, if you're familiar with that time, but never this kind of environment where it's so uneven recovery. And then you have obviously more people working from home. So, and then there's recruiting and HR issues around people being interviewed remotely, people working from home and how to onboard them from an organization. Is it safe for people to come back to the office? How do you show or maintain a culture when everyone's working remotely? And then all the other issues around the vaccine, and can an employer force someone to take a vaccine or to show proof that they've had the vaccine, or can they force someone to return to work? So a lot of really interesting HR issues. So I'll turn now to talk about a little bit about interesting facts about CPAs and public accounting, and then we'll talk about how to boost your career in public accounting. So the list of the largest CPA firms in Canada: number 1, Deloitte; number 2, KPMG; number 3, PwC; number 4, Ernst & Young, known as the Big Four. And then beyond that, rounding out kind of the top 8, Grant Thornton, MNP, BDO, and Collins Barrow. Now, when I was younger and doing my articling, it was the Big 8. And then as mergers took place between firms, it became readily apparent that the smaller firms got gobbled up and it became the Big Four. But certainly people think of the Big Four. Again, at one point it was the Big 8. And some other interesting facts about CPAs in Canada, just from a broad perspective, and then I'm going to drill down into the public accounting sector. But there are 217,000 members between provincial and national Canadian accounting organizations that unify it under the CPA designation. In 2013, CPA Canada signed an agreement to merge with Certified General Accountants of Canada, which occurred on October 1st, 2014, and that completed the integration of the country's national accounting bodies. So it's been now over 7 years since that merger has taken place. Now, what it takes to find a job generally in the current market. Think about what you want to do. Number one. Number two, make a list of what you want. What's important to you in terms of a job. And then think of the type of work, the people, the location, the work from home. Have a plan. Think of all these things that are important, but make a list. And I always say people spend more time doing a grocery list or thinking about their next trip, rather than thinking about their career, which is such a bigger part of your overall life, or most people's lives. Number two, have an updated resume. Number three, make sure your LinkedIn profile is up to date and consistent with your resume. So I've seen scenarios in many cases that I'll get a resume and I'll look at their LinkedIn profile and see inconsistencies between their resume and their LinkedIn profile. So you want to make sure that you have some consistency there. You also want to join relevant LinkedIn groups. So I run a number of LinkedIn groups that you should join, including the Chartered Professional Accountants Group of Canada and the Toronto Chartered Professional Accountants. And I will post those into the chat, or I think Sandra will be doing that as well. So you're welcome to join those groups. There's also the Halton PLCPA Ontario Association, which I'm on the board as well, and you can join those groups too. And finally, the Canadian Finance and Accounting Professionals Group. These are good groups that you can join, you can network and build yourself into new opportunities. Getting into the hidden job market accounts for 80 to 90% of all open jobs, so especially right now. In fact, I'd probably say during the pandemic that the hidden job market, these are jobs that are never advertised, are even maybe more, account for 90 to 95% of jobs that are open. So if you're at a firm, talk about any internal opportunities that might be there. Speak with the partners. When I was younger and I was starting up my career in public accounting, I was very nervous about working with partners or being anywhere close to partners for that matter. I feared whatever. But now that I'm older, I realize that partners can really help you in your career. And the people that were younger that figured that out faster than I did, they achieved more opportunities in their careers. They got opportunities with their clients, with the firm's clients, or other opportunities within the firm. So make sure to speak up and talk about internal opportunities, growth, maybe opportunities that might be with one of your clients as well. I would say another tip is to get a coach or an advisor or recruiter to help you. And know what you're good at. Having a really good understanding of your strengths is really important for you to know which direction your career might take. And I always say this, do something that you love. If accounting is not your thing, look at work that you love to do. And don't get discouraged with everything going on right now. The job market has really been turned upside down, and you might need to pivot your career. And there is obviously a huge amount of people working from home. The figures range anywhere from 25 to 35% of all employees are working from home. So this is very big right now. And so I'm going to touch on the top 10 characteristics of successful professionals in public accounting. And this is what I've seen based on my experience. And then we'll talk about how you can improve your chances of getting a better opportunity in public accounting. So number one is they work hard and they make themselves available. They work for their clients, they work for the firm, they make themselves available and work hard. So these are people that I've seen to be the most successful professionals in public accounting. This is what makes them different. Number two, they want continuous improvement and they take constructive feedback. Number three is they have strong listening and communication skills and they work at it. And number four, for leaders, they can coach and mentor staff. So the ones that have learned how to coach and mentor and manage staff, they become leaders and they progress in the firms very quickly. Number five, they listen to constructive feedback. Now this is hard. I know I talked about they want continuous improvement as number two, But number 5 is they will listen to constructive feedback and implement that in their day-to-day. Number 6, they have strong knowledge and understanding of accounting systems. Well, it kind of goes without saying, but with different accounting systems, whether it's casework, tax prep, can tax, there's so many different types of systems, and not to mention the ones that clients, JD Edwards, SAP, or whatever, QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Desktop, a lot of different systems out there. So characteristics of public accountants that have done well, from what I've seen, have a really strong knowledge and understanding of accounting systems. And goes hand in hand, number 7, is they have a strong technical accounting and financial background as well. Number 8, they're enthusiastic about what they're doing and about their firm and about their clients. Number 9, they have a strong network. And I talked about having a good, strong network to get into that hidden job market. So having a strong network is really important. And then number 10, they have a desire for continuous learning. They always want to be improving. They always want to find out. They're always inquisitive. And the fact that you're on this webinar watching, that's a good sign. Now, 10 things of what firms are looking for right now. I know I'm giving you a number of different items, but I wanted to share because there's a lot of different scenarios that are going on. So 10 things of what firms are looking for right now in people. Number 1, people who can be flexible. They can work from home or the office. There are some really great opportunities, but they may require you to work from an office. And then there's a lot of opportunities that may allow you to work from home or hybrid. But the more flexible you are, the more opportunities you're going to get, and the better opportunities you're going to get, because you're going to be a possible candidate for different jobs. Number 2, people who are motivated to grow. Number 3, people who want to work hard, not make excuses, is number 4. People who don't make excuses. Number 5, I talked about this already. I touched on it. Communication, very important. They work on communication. I find generally speaking that public accountants are a little bit quieter, a little bit more introverted, but communication is very important. Really work on that. Number 6, having a clean resume, stable resume too. Number 7, putting the firm ahead of themselves. So more about what you will do for the firm rather than what the firm can or will do for you. So the attitude has changed, whereby, you know what, firms used to accommodate a little bit more work from home or work-life balance and so on. But now it's kind of like, you know what we've given people that, and it hasn't really been reciprocated. So now firms are saying, look, we want people to put the firm ahead of themselves. Those are the people that are going to succeed and grow in their firms. Number 8 is great references. So having good references that will talk well about you. It could be clients, could be former colleagues, could be partners, could be managers within your firm or previous firms. Number 9, somebody with a positive attitude. Really somebody who's excited about being there and is excited about learning and about the work. And number 10, client focus. Do whatever you need to do to help clients of the firm. The clients of the firm pay the bills. They pay your salary. So really being client focused and help drive the clients to that organization as well. So I'm going to share some links in here as well. Actually, Sandra, don't send these or share these links because they are a little bit older ones. So I just want to mention some of the jobs that we have that we are working on, that we are currently working on, and if there's questions here afterwards, we'll share those as well. But I want to mention, so we have a few different positions that we're working on. So right now we have opportunities with boutique firms. These are specialized boutique firms in valuations and in forensic accounting. And those firms are looking for people who are in the CBV program or have started the CBV program or are really interested in going through that. So maybe you're in level 1, for example. So if you're interested in those kind of roles, we have those kind of roles downtown Toronto. We have a number of public accounting roles throughout the Greater Toronto area, and even as far as Peterborough on the east and Hamilton on the west. So if you are looking for a role in public accounting, and even if you're not in those geographic areas, even if you're anywhere in Ontario or across Canada and you're watching, you can certainly let us know, because there are some firms that are accommodating work from home opportunities. We also have financial advisor roles, so in financial services. So you can work anywhere in Canada if you are interested in getting into financial services as a financial advisor. And those are commission only type roles. They're not roles in public accounting, but if you are interested in something like that, happy to chat with you. And so we have in public accounting, we have senior manager positions, audit manager positions. We also have a firm that is not a public accounting firm, but they're very similar to it. And what they do is they do accounting and bookkeeping and controllership for their clients. So it's similar in the sense of dealing with clients and having multiple clients that you're dealing with, but it's different in the sense that you're not involved with doing audits or reviews or assurance work or whatever. It's mainly bookkeeping and accounting on a monthly basis for the clients. So keep that in mind. So bottom line is there are lots of opportunities that we are working at through our TorontoJobs.ca recruitment division. You're welcome to reach out to me if there's anything that you're interested in, that you'd like to find out about roles, about your career. If you have a resume or if you just want to chat, feel free to reach out to me. You can connect with me on LinkedIn if you'd like. You can also sign up to our website at TorontoJobs.ca. You can visit some of the positions that we have, and I'll tell you how to do that shortly. But you can sign up to job mail alerts so that you get notifications when something comes up that looks interesting. And also, as far as the current jobs that we have through our recruitment division here at TorontoJobs.ca, all you have to do is visit TorontoJobs.ca. You hover over the recruitment division tab at the top, and you click on recruitment openings, and that will give you all the job descriptions that I mentioned, all the postings, and you can reach out to me. And you can also email me your resume if you'd like. My email is firstname.lastname at TorontoJobs.ca. So that's Marc.Belaiche, MARC.BELAICHE at TorontoJobs.ca. And you can also text us anytime at 289-206-1651. That's 289-206-51. And TorontoJobs.ca, we have a great YouTube channel. There's literally hundreds of videos that you can watch on every topic to do with resumes, interviewing tips, and many, many more. I've run a number of panels that you can check out as well. So definitely subscribe to our channel if you'd like, and you can watch a bunch of videos as well. And then I've also written the book called Tales from the Recruiter. It's available by going on to talesfromtherecruiter.ca. You can read the book directly online, or you can order a hard copy of the book mailed to you anywhere in Canada or around the world. And those are there's lots of great information for you for finding a job and the best ways of finding a position. In fact, I noted the job title, the subheading of Tales from the Recruiter, a Canadian recruiter's perspective on how to get that perfect job, because there is a formula in there that I talk about in the book. Now, we do have a number of great virtual events as well. You can visit TorontoJobs.ca/news for information. And then we also have PD at our virtual events that you can check out. So visit our sister division's website, EventLogic with a K.ca. That's EventLogic with a K.ca, and you can get some PD there as well. And then we also have a lot of great social media that we're involved with. We post a lot of information, some tips, some articles, some job numbers, and so on. And you can visit all our links at Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And and another couple of groups I talked about on LinkedIn, the Chartered Professional Accountants Group of Canada, Halton Peel CPA Ontario Association. I'm a member of that group, on the board, I should say. I'm a board member, board of directors. And so I can certainly help you out if you want to connect within the CPA community or otherwise. And I just, kind of wanted to say thanks to the team for the support today. Rachel, Alex, Sandra, of course, being our MC today, Sarah and Anne, Carla, a lot of people that worked together to bring this event to you. So I want to say thanks to you and to the group, and I want to thank you all for being here on today's webinar. And so I think that's it. I mean, let's see if there's some questions. I'm not sure if you want to come back on, Sandra, if you're still there. There we go. Hey, Sandra, welcome back.
Hey, Mark. Hey. Sorry, I totally did not realize that my video was turned off when I did the intro, and it was just the screen with the picture there.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, but we do actually have some questions, so I'm just going to grab them here, and then you can answer them. So the first question that I have is, what's the best way of working with recruiters?
Yeah, so great question. So I would say, I mean, there's maybe I'll just say three tips here, because there's lots of different ways, but I'll say 3 ways because that's usually a easier way to remember. So number 1 would be really to be honest. I've had people come to me and they're not really honest about what their experience is, what their maybe what their pay, what their responsibilities are, and so on and so forth, or they may exaggerate, or maybe they may underestimate what they do. So, so number 1, I would say, really being honest with recruiters. Number 2 would be to have a roadmap, like think of where you want to be before you speak with a recruiter as to where you want to go or what you want to be. What kind of firm, if you're looking to get into a firm, is it a smaller firm, larger firm? Having a clear path is better. And then number 3, the more you want to specialize, the better it is. So for example, if I want to go into tax, or I want to stay in public accounting, or I want to try something like forensic accounting or otherwise, having a good plan and sharing that with the recruiter is always good. Now, recruiters can be a really good source of information as well, to find out, what the market is, what compensation is, and so on and so forth. But generally, when you're working with recruiters, you want to come forward with a plan and have a plan of attack and approach.
Okay, our second question here is how to show a designation, what to show on the resume if I've passed the exams, but I don't have all my time.
Yeah, it's another good question. So what I would say is, in the education section, I would say your exams have been completed, the CFE has been completed, still need experience of X number of months or X time, or whatever the case may be. You also want to highlight that perhaps in a cover letter, or in even higher at the outset, to say that in your objective or your profile on your resume that you are only X number of months away from completing, or getting to being successful, or your expected graduation date is X date, or whatever. It could be whatever, 2022, 2023, or whatever the case may be. So if you're not quite there yet, you're getting there and you've passed your exams, that would be the next level to go from, for sure. Okay,
and then the third question that I have here is, how do I choose which recruiters to speak with?
Well, of course, you can reach out to me. Be happy to help you out. We have lots of opportunities within public accounting. We may have the most number of public accounting opportunities of any firm in the Greater Toronto area. Maybe not, I'm not sure, but I know we do have a lot of opportunities both within public accounting and outside of public accounting. So I would say to reach out to me. I mean, but ultimately, generally speaking, you want to find somebody that you're comfortable with, and that you can deal with and you can speak with, and they give you the time and information that you need. And many times I've helped people finding jobs and or giving them advice and them finding ultimately another position. But recruiters generally know that, this is a good way to connect, build relationships with contacts and with possible candidates, because one day they might be a potential client as well. So I think you just go with somebody that you know. I mean, you could have multiple recruiters that you're dealing with, and I would reach out to them and see people that are perhaps influential, perhaps people that post online, perhaps people that you feel most comfortable with, and just pick up the phone and call them, or email, or reach out through social media.
Okay, is there anything else you want to add in regards to your presentation today at all?
Boy, I mean, yeah, I could go on for a long time, but I think really, I mentioned it earlier about people being, people in public accounting being a little bit quiet, a little bit more introverted, maybe a little bit shy. And it's not a bad thing. It's just that they're not as proactive and not out there and don't make themselves as visible as maybe they should. So just really make yourself out there, like put yourself out there, make sure your LinkedIn profile is visible. Recruiters definitely use LinkedIn to find candidates, respond to emails or LinkedIn messages on a prompt basis, not 3 months later. Like keep checking that area. I realize during busy season it might be a bit tough to kind of manage all the different messages that you might be getting, but the recruiters like to deal with people who are responsive, and that would be something that I would share for sure. So, but otherwise, yeah, I mean, there's lots of good things. I would encourage anyone to give me a call. Be happy to chat about their career, where they want to go, what they want to do. And if there's anything I can help, by all means, happy to do so.
Okay, I think I got all the links here on the side. I was adding them sort of throughout the event. I don't know if there's any more that you wanted to add, just so our viewers are able to jot them down.
Yeah, I think you got everything. I think obviously the main one is TorontoJobs.ca in terms of our area, but yeah, you have my email address, and I mentioned it as well, Marc.Belaiche at TorontoJobs.ca. Connect with me on LinkedIn if there's anything I can help you with as well, and don't hesitate to reach out. I'm happy to discuss where you're going, what you're doing, how I can help. My LinkedIn profile is there. Sandra, thanks for sharing that. But yeah, and I love talking about jobs. That's my world. So that's been my world for 26 years now. So feel free to reach out. Don't hesitate to ask.
All right, perfect. If there's nothing else, I guess that's all for today.
That's great. Well, thanks very much, Sandra. Thanks again for organizing, and happy to help out anyone out. But again, thanks, Sandra, for putting it all together.
Yeah, no worries. And thanks to everyone again for joining us today. We really appreciate just everyone taking time out of their day to just join our webinar.
For sure.
Okay, perfect. Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.